Continuing on with Daredevil season two, just getting right into it. This season is better than season one, hands down. I think this is the best season out of all of Daredevil, and primarily that's because of John Bernthal and Elodie Young. These two are fantastic introductions to this show. Starting off with John, just because we'll get to everything else, but John Bernthal is the perfect Punisher. To me, he is the best part about this season. I like him so much. I really liked his character. I think what they wrote for him and how they developed it was extremely well done. The emotions that John was able to portray and the little ticks that he had, I thought were just perfect. I don't think there's anything bad about his performance. I can't wait to see him return because he was near perfect. I mean, we did get the suit towards the end, which I liked. I liked the inspiration for it. We have the bullet hole in the head. The action in this series is amazing as always. The cinematography. I really enjoyed the conversation in particular between Matt and Punisher on the rooftop. I thought that was a really good debate about morality, and especially since it was so early in the season, seeing them both prove each other's points as the season goes on, I thought was extremely great writing. And then moving on to Elodie Young, she did a great job as Elektra. I can't imagine anyone else in this role. This show has perfect castings for nearly every single character. And I enjoy what she brought to this season and the chaos that she brought to Matt's life because even though we still had the Punisher arc and everything going on in the show, adding this bit of chaos and this overarching story that they're later going to set up for Defenders, I do think helped, and it didn't feel rushed and didn't feel like they put things to the side just because there were natural breaks in the Punisher arc where they had to put something in. And I think putting in the Elektra backstory and the current story with the hand fit very nicely, as well as it gave us some natural time progression instead of just doing time skips for Punisher. So I was very happy about that. I thought it was a very good way to tell the story. Well choreographed, great action. The acting's fantastic by everyone. I mean, if you enjoy season one, this season's even better. And that's hard to believe because season one's near perfect. This season, I think, is perfect.
I agree. I had a lot of fun with this season. As you guys know, I'm a huge. I mean, he's my favorite Marvel superhero. I had no idea that they were gonna go, and talking, staying away from like spoilers and trailers and things like that. I had no idea that they were gonna go the route of the Punisher and Elektra, because nothing was alluded to that in season one. Of course, many of the season one fans or comic book fans like myself were wondering, if not anything about the Punisher, definitely, well, where in the hell is Elektra? Because
Mhm.
she's such an integral part of Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil's life. So diving into season two, like Griff says, it's very well written. The fights are amazing. The action is 10 times larger than it was in season one, if you could even imagine such a thing. We have new villains, we have new characters being introduced, but it doesn't diminish what happens with our first three protagonists. We still have the evolution of Matt Murdock with his friendship with Foggy Nelson, which was a big part of season one, and his sort. We all kind of knew that there was a thing between he and Karen Page in
Oh
season
yeah,
one,
without a doubt.
and those of us who read comics know that what was going to happen. Again, and I'll die on this hill. I think Deborah and Wool completely changed the character of Karen Page.
Oh yeah.
She was just a lonely bimbo secretary before. Now she's so much more. And so it makes sense that Matt would be intrigued by a woman like this. I like the three dynamics between these people. And I like that this takes place right after season one. I mean, Daredevil's out there doing his thing. He's got his suit now. I don't really like the first iteration of the helmet of the suit. It's got like these weird Captain America First Avengers like earmuffs. That's my only gripe about it. Later on in the show, he gets two upgrades for the helmet, which I think fitted well. And I agree with Griffin. The introduction to the Punisher, I think John is the Punisher. I mean, he absolutely looks the Punisher, and he doesn't really do the skull thing towards the very end, very much like Daredevil didn't do the red suit till the last episode of season one. but it works, man. You believe that this guy is Frank Castle. You believe that, something horrible happened to his family. For those that don't know, I won't spoil it. Every time I ever read a Punisher comic or saw him in Spider-Man the animated series, it was kind of leveled down, and I understand why. But here, Punisher is unleashed, and he
That
just
prison scene.
fucking goes, man. Like even when he first appears, when we really don't, if you're just watching the show without watching any of the trailers, you don't know that it's the Punisher. How he goes about punishing people and killing people, you're like, that could only ever be the Punisher. Is it the Punisher? And so the way I watched it the first time around was without watching any of the trailers. I had no idea it was going to be the Punisher. And when he's actually revealed, that was pretty cool. It just the look of him, the sheer acting skills that John Bernthal has, the veracity of the fight scenes, and I love when he and Matt Murdock are on screen facing each other off because there's two very different ideologies, and it's not like Batman versus Superman. It's completely Frank wants to put you in the ground. Matt, because of his Catholicism, doesn't want to go that far. He believes in people being able to redeem themselves. Frank's like, fuck that. He's a pedophile. He's gonna come right back out and do it again
Yeah.
a couple of years from now. So let's just get rid of him.
And let us know in the comments which ideology you agree with.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And then of course, so Daredevil's thrown into this whirlwind of like, I can't stand for this. And also things are being questioned like, well, maybe the fact that you're here kind of created this person. So now he really has to put his stance there. While he's dealing with this, his relationship with Karen Page, his on and off again friendship that's been fractured with Foggy Nelson, all of a sudden Electra gets back thrown into the mix. And Griffin, I've had this discussion numerous times. I agree that Karen is better for Matt Murdock, but I will die on the hill that Elektra is the love of Matt Murdock's life, just because of everything that she meant to him at a very young age while in college, and even then, so when she comes full back into his life, and because she very much like Catwoman understands who Batman is as Batman, she understands Matt Murdock's alter ego. She understands that okay, he's this nice, well-combed haired guy who, helps people, but she also understands that there's something in him that's broken that he needs to put on the suit, beat the crap out of people to, be able to sleep at night. And she's with that. However, I will also say that she's not right for Matt. She's crazy as all hell. There's something really wrong with Elektra. She gets a real kick out of, slashing someone's throat. Even when they do work well together and she helps him out, she ultimately gets him into a lot of shit. So she's not well with him. I love Elodie Young's portrayal of Elektra. It's no surprise to any of you guys. Although I did clap because I saw Jennifer Gardner and she beefed up and she looks quite well for her age in Deadpool and Wolverine. Elodie Young in real life is a black belt in karate. And from just the look of her, she just looks like a fucking ninja. She looks like she's there to kill you. And so I love that, man.
Yeah, we did a video about it a bit over a year ago with who is the love of Matt's life. And before I did say Karen Page. After rewatching this, watching a bit of Defenders again, yeah, it's definitely Elektra. I think you should 100% end up with Karen for this show, but it's definitely Elektra. Especially like when you get into season 3 at the start. It's definitely Elektra. It's I know most of you guys agree, but it's I flopped.
He's so drawn into her, even when he knows I got to stay the hell away from this woman. She's bad news. She's crazy. She'll just kill someone that upsets her. He loves her.
Yeah.
He can't. It's easy to stay away from someone like that when they're not in your life. You're like, they don't care about me, fucking. But when she just shows back up, even though he tries to resist, it's hard. First of all, Aloysia Young is a beautifully striking woman. She looks seductive as all hell in many of the scenes. He's not expecting her. Last thing he ever expected to happen in his life was to run back into Elektra, the love of his young life. All these feelings start swirling up in him, and she's hot, and there's a lot of chemistry. And as the saying goes, where there was fire, there's ashes. And she starts stirring all this shit up again. Of course, feelings arise. He loves her, and
Yeah.
he even says so in this season. He tells her up front, I'll, you run, I jump. Where you go, I go. I like that he's got that one deadly thing that will make him falter. Because again, you have this really diehard Catholic guy who believes in Christ and believes in redemption, but yet Elektra is able to pull him into that darkness for a little bit. And for a little bit, he goes a little far. He's willing to just really beat the crap out of people. She wants him to unleash, but he's always able to just hold back enough to remain true to himself, which I think is cool.
Yeah, it's incredibly well written. This is by far one of the best projects Marvel's ever done to date. For whatever reason you haven't started the show yet, please, if you're here for whatever reason, start the show.
There's this one particular episode, the hospital, where the hand just fucking like
Yeah.
20 just show up at a hospital. They don't care. They're ready, man. The
Oh
cops could
yeah.
have been there, whatever. They just show up and start fucking shit up, breaking through windows. They're
Nothing
climbing
can
up
be done.
walls during the night. Foggy and Claire at the hospital, and just very horror movie oriented. The fucking lights go out, and they're all fucked. Like Matt Daredevil shows up, but the fact that the danger level goes up that high, like it literally is like half a dozen fucking ninjas, if not more,
Oh,
that
and they
just show up
snuck
and
in with Daredevil on the roof too.
yeah,
It's terrifying, but it's so good. All the fight scenes are so well done.
yeah. We get several fights like that with the hand. It's one thing to fight Kingpin, one thing to fight mob bosses, but these are fucking deadly assassin ninjas, man. So
Immortal
that
ninjas. I mean, how
I love that. And I didn't know as I'm watching the show the first time around that we were gonna get this. I knew Electra was there, but they're kind of like doing like falling back in love thing. There's a lot of flashback scenes, which I love because we get to see Foggy and Matt as younger men, and Matt fall in love with Elektra. You get to see Elektra just bail on him, but you also get like Elektra's like, "Hey, I need you to help me out with this shit. This is." So you get to see Daredevil and Elektra take on the Hand, and you get to see Daredevil and Punisher, which I fucking love. And
oh
towards the
yeah.
very end, we get Stick back, and we learn that there's this dynamic between Stick, Elektra, and Daredevil, which is awesome. And towards the very end, when we see Punisher show back up, I'll
Yeah.
I'll just say that I won't say what happens. I'll just say he shows back up. Thought that was cool, and I love his nickname for Daredevil,
There's
Red.
actually one thing I remember that I don't like.
Okay,
Black Sky was stupid as hell. That made
Black Sky's always been dumb as fuck.
it's always been dubbed. But this in the show, it came completely out of left field and had zero explanation, and it just said, "You're the Black Sky," and they're like, "Oh yeah, of course, it makes sense all along." But there's no
Well, there was a
explanation or
Black
lead
Sky
up.
in season 1, which I didn't. I also thought was
I
kind of stupid.
remember, but there's still no explanation. Still don't have any explanation even going for it. It's still just stupid. That's the worst part. But even with that, it's this show still makes has a good dynamic.
Yeah, no, I love it. Punisher, John Bernthal is as deadly as you would want the Punisher to be. He's as brutal as the Punisher, and you cheer for the dude every single time he does something to someone who's evil, because if you've ever wronged anyone, if you've ever hurt a woman, been a pedophile, you're into child pornography, you rape, if you've ever done anything wrong, he's going to he's going to kill you. And he's going to enjoy it. And the crowd cheers every time I saw him on screen. That pawn shop scene, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
He was on his way out, and that dude's like, "You're into kids?" And it doesn't show it, but we know he murdered that guy
brutally.
ruthlessly. I like that he also has a heart. He's got a soft spot for animals, which is like he's a dickhead. He's strong. He's a special forces, but he can't stand for animal beatings and things like that. Charlie Cox is as great as he was in season 1 with Daredevil. He looks better now.
Yeah,
He's I guess he's gotten a little bit more used to the costume. The dynamic between Foggy and Karen, I love those two, Deborah and Wool, and Eldon is Foggy, and Elodie Young, man. Every time she's on screen, she's like a Bond chick. She's sexy, seductive, alluring, if you will,
she's better
and
than a
and
Bond chick.
deadly.
She actually does something.
And when you see her, like, because most chicks can be sexy, she's also lethal. Like you buy into her. Like what I every time I watch this season, and I've seen it several times, it is my favorite season out of the three. Every time she does something like kill, I buy into the fact that she's enjoying that shit because of Matt's reaction to it. Because he's always like, "Fuck," because that would be my reaction
Hmm.
if I saw some, a beautiful woman just fucking do what she does. And also when you see her doing it, we're all grown and we can tell when, stunt doubles. And although I'm admittedly so, I'm sure that there's a stunt double in there somewhere. For the most part, that's her. That's Elodie Young doing that shit. It's not like in Daredevil, the movie, where they have that stupid ass playground fucking flying in the air fight sequence thing, which was choreographed, by the way, by a world class martial artist. And every time I watch that movie, I'm like, where the fuck did that guy get his black belt? Here, when you do see Electra fight, you buy into it. It looks real. Yes, it's choreographed, so it's not a real fight, but still, it just I buy into her. She looks like she's a real life assassin ninja that belongs to the hand. There's something in Elodie's eyes that just it's like looking into a doll's eyes, man. She's just crazy at sometimes without even saying a word, which is odd. Best season, in my opinion. Of course, you guys are welcome to disagree. It brings three of my favorite characters together in a way I never thought possible. I never thought we were gonna get fucking Punisher
Oh yeah,
um
no.
in a Marvel show. I definitely didn't think I was ever gonna live the dream of seeing Punisher and Daredevil together on screen. And after Jennifer Gardner, I didn't think we'd see another Elektra, and definitely not a good Elektra. And Kevin, Marvel, Disney, she's clearly not in season 1 of Born Again. She better fucking come back. She better. It just there was rumors of her recasting with Eiza Gonzalez, which is a beautiful actress, but just the depth, the range, and the beauty and elegance that Elodie brings to the character, I'm not sure you're going to be able to replicate it. I mean, you were smart enough to go get John Bernthal back, Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, and after fans pleaded, and I guess you heard us, you went and got Eldon and Deborah back. So fucking go get Elodie back.
Yeah.
Complete your shit.
And if you enjoyed this video, go check out our season one review. It's a lot of the same. It's such a good show. If you're joining in late and this is just what caught your interest, check out the show, start from the beginning. It is such a good ride, and you'll be surprised how fast you go through it.